Welcome to another episode of Ingrid's World. I'm your host, Ingrid Paris Hicklin. On this show, meet Catholic Charities of the Diocese of Arlington, whose ministry provides service and resources to all who are in need. We will be talking with Stephen Carattini, President and CEO. Stephen Carattini was born in New York City, grew up in Italy, Greece, Spain, Turkey, and Iran. He and his wife, Michelle, have 2 children. He holds a master's degree in theology from St. Thomas University, Houston, Texas, and a bachelor's degree in international relations from Georgetown University School of Foreign Service in Washington, D.C. We will also be talking with Ron Riggins, Chairman of Catholic Charities of the Diocese of Arlington, Board of Directors. Ron Riggins is a banking consultant by profession. Ron's radical conversion to the Catholic faith came as a result of witnessing the 9/11 disaster at Pentagon, which awakened in him the call to evangelize and serve charitably. He and his wife, Terry, have 3 adult children. Well, welcome to the show, gentlemen. I am thrilled to have you both.
Thank you so much, Ingrid.
Well, Ron, how about if we start off about talking about Catholic Charities? Give us an introduction to Catholic Charities.
Sure, Ingrid, and thank you very much. So Catholic Charities is one of the ministries that's within the Diocese of Arlington. We are a separate 501c3 organization. We have a very diverse board of people that are lay people as well as priests. And the purpose of Catholic Charities is to perform works of charity and to serve those that are in need. And that is one of the missions of the church, is to serve the poor. And we invite Catholics into working with us to be able to serve the poor, to give of their time and their talent and their treasure. And the reason we serve is because we have encountered the love of God poured into our hearts. And so with hearts that are full, we seek to try to serve others that are in need, to be Christ to others. And because others are also in the image and likeness of God, we serve because we're Catholic, not because they're Catholic. We serve all types of people.
Oh, beautiful. So what's the history of Catholic Charities?
So, well, we were formed in 1977, the Catholic Diocese of Arlington. Previously, we were part of the Richmond Catholic Charities. And over the past 10 years, we have doubled in size, we've doubled in revenue, the number of employees, just in terms of our programs. And today we're approaching to be a $20 million agency. We have about 150 employees now. We continue to grow because there is so much need. And we have 21 ministries in 5 service areas: Newcomer and refugee services, the crisis response programs such as food pantries and emergency assistance, health services. We have a free medical clinic in 2 locations, transformational housing for those that have been homeless to try to go to independent living, and all kinds of dignity of life programs for pregnancy, for prison ministry, and seniors.
Wow. That's really moving. So Stephen, when you talk about the ministries, the ministry areas of Catholic Charities, Ron touched on that. Would you like to add some more to that, Stephen?
Sure. Thank you very much, Ingrid. Well, in terms of the scope that of Catholic Charities of the Diocese of Arlington, we are called to serve the poor, protect the vulnerable, and welcome the newcomer throughout our diocese. And as some of your viewers may know, the diocese covers over 21 counties. Let's see if I get this right, from Shenandoah in the west to Lancaster in the east, and from Loudoun County in the north to Spotsylvania County in the south. So quite a geographic territory. We have 19 facilities or locations located throughout the diocese, and it is through these 19 locations, and now as a result of the pandemic, via the internet that we exercise the ministries that Ron just mentioned, the nearly 21 ministries of Catholic Charities.
So you talked about the pandemic. What has been the impact of the pandemic on Catholic Charities?
Well, I think we probably want to look at that from three different perspectives. We have our staff, our volunteers, and most importantly, most critically, the people that we serve. So in March of last year, our staff were asked to make decisions about how they were going to operate, how we were going to operate in this new environment that we found ourselves in. Of course, our ministry is a very personal ministry. And so to find ourselves in a position where we could not see or be in the same place as those we are serving was very challenging and very, very unnerving for us.
Absolutely.
But our staff rallied, and in one instance, our counseling ministry, which had been contemplating slowly adding in a telecounseling capacity, shifted over the weekend and moved all of our counseling services online. So this happened across the agency. So our staff were really asked to dig deep, to be creative, and be flexible and adaptable in terms of the way in which they were going to conduct their ministry. Our volunteers had to make the same kind of a shift. Sadly, a number of our volunteers were not able to come in to do what they had been doing. We asked them to pray for us, the most powerful thing that anyone can do for another person. And then finally, the impact, of course, on our clients, on the people that we serve, was terrible in so many ways. We saw so many more people coming to us for basic, for food, for rent, for utility assistance, for counseling, across the board. The number of people that were in need as a result of the pandemic was incredible.
It was incredible. So, Stephen, you brought a very wonderful video called Catholic Charities Continues to Serve Amid the COVID. And so let's pause for a second and let our viewers take a look at that.
In this time of the pandemic, we are all made more aware of how we have a solidarity with the whole human family.
We've definitely seen an increase in the requests coming into our programs as a result of COVID-19. In our food program, we've had more than 150% increase in the number of people seeking food assistance. In our emergency assistance program, which provides emergency rent and utility assistance, we've had more than a 280% increase in the number of households that have called saying, I can't pay my bills and I'm scared what's going to happen next.
And all of our food drives just kind of came to a stop because we had to figure out how we were going to do it safely. Everybody was staying home. Nobody was going to work. Nobody was really going out to do anything.
We had to continue serving and had to figure out a way to do it without meeting people face to face.
We recognized we still needed to serve our clients and more stress was coming.
Catholic Charities didn't say, well, in light of how everything has changed, we just can't do it anymore. No, they said the opposite. This is a challenge. How can we do this?
One of the things we've done is to move a lot of services online, like our Mother Mercy free medical clinics. Counseling has gone online.
The counselors were able to research all the best practices for teletherapy and launch entirely into a virtual platform.
We've adapted by going to drive-by food drives where you can just pop your trunk open and a volunteer will take your food out of your trunk without any contact.
We have a regular system where through the generosity of the diocese and Catholic Charities and benefactors, people can come up and receive food or household supplies or some other kind of aid.
What Catholic Charities did was act as that bridge for us. The distribution, the services, the funds that they've offered us really helped us to meet the emergency needs of our community members and our parishioners.
That was a wonderful video. Thank you so much for bringing that So how has Catholic Charities, so you've responded to these amazing needs, thank goodness that you've done that, and you brought a very interesting slide for us that shows what Catholic Charities was able to do. And we're going to show our viewers that. Can you explain what we're looking at?
Yes, this is one part of the ministry that we provided during the pandemic, and it's focusing on our emergency assistance as well as the amount of food that was distributed in the 12-month period from March of 2020 to April of 2021. And I think I need to say that we do this. We provide food, we provide emergency assistance, and have done so for many years in our diocese. What made this past year so unique was the amount. And you can see there in the slide the increase in need for food. We supplied over almost another 600,000 pounds of food, more than what we would normally do in a year. And our numbers, sadly, for emergency assistance were through the roof. We almost 4 times what we would normally, 5 times what we would normally provide in a given year.
Ron, would you like to add some pieces to this? Because I think that, when you see this, it just tells such a powerful story.
Yes, one of the things that was so amazing is the outpouring of generosity. There were so many people that were hurting during the pandemic. They lost jobs, or their work was scaled back, and we saw donors coming to us for the very first time with large donations and corporate grants and foundation grants, and the response was amazing. So we could not have addressed all of these needs, and there's still so much more need out there, but we could not have addressed that need and the numbers that Stephen just went through without all of those people that reached out to us, those that were existing donors and those that were new donors, and parishes, just an amazing response.
So, Stephen, let's talk now a little bit about responding to the emergency needs of individuals, because that's another issue there. The emergency needs and homelessness. Stephen, would you like to add to that part?
Sure. Again, this is part of what we've been doing with Catholic Charities of the Diocese of Arlington has been doing for almost 50 years. During the pandemic, the concerns and issues that people have were only amplified. So our ministry to keep people in their homes. We saw a significant increase in the number of people asking for that type of assistance. As Ron just shared, we had people losing their jobs, we had people getting their hours cut back, and then getting behind in their rent. So we were able to quickly, because of the generosity of our community, scale up our existing ministry to be able to help meet those needs. And I have to say, if there was a silver lining in this, it's that by going virtual, by being forced to move online, we were actually able to see and be of service to more people. Obviously, the same kinds of issues we saw with rent, we also saw with utilities, and unfortunately and sadly with food. But thanks be to God, the generosity of our community, of our parishes throughout the diocese, we were able to respond in a wonderful way.
It certainly did, for sure. Other things that you're offering that comes to Catholic Charities, which is really monumental, is the Newcomer services. And that is so important. Could you speak a little bit about that?
Sure. And this diocese has a rich history of welcoming the newcomer through our migration and refugee services, which is within our newcomer services division. So it's been something we've been doing for quite a long time. Welcoming the newcomer is part of our DNA, is part of who we are. And so it ranges from resettlement services. These are people who have been classified as refugees, and then they are vetted very, very carefully, and it takes usually a very long period of time. It can be years. And once those folks are approved, then they're given their travel credentials, flight arrangements are made, and if they're willing to resettle here in this part of in Northern Virginia, then they'll be assigned to our agency. We have a contract with the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops to resettle refugees within our diocese. So what will happen, literally, we'll get their flight notification and we'll have our staff meeting them at the airport. Wow. And taking them to their apartment. So we're among the first faces that they will see when they arrive in their new home, in their new country. And then we stay with them for up to 6 months, and actually even longer than that. Wow. To help ensure that they have everything that they need and have every opportunity to be able to thrive in their new home. We also have, within our newcomers area, we have an education and workforce development. And so, when folks come to this country, they have to be working within about 3 months. Wow. And so part of our task now is to help them find work, but also be prepared for that work as well. So classes in terms of computer classes or other types of work development, we're able to provide for these folks. And then we also have a family reunification ministry. That helps us to reunite young children who are come across the border to be united with their loved ones and family here in the United States. While they are awaiting their day in court, they are allowed to be reunified with family members here in the United States, and we're part of that process as well.
Stephen, it gives me chills about the services that Catholic Charities provides. Ron, could you speak about the volunteer services? I mean, because the volunteers, I think it was part of, let's say, makes the wheel go around. And speak about your volunteer services.
Sure. Thank you, Ingrid. You're exactly right. There is no way that we could operate the way we do without volunteers. As I mentioned, we have 150 employees and growing, but we have approximately 3,500 volunteers. And so these volunteers often come through the parishes, but they're not necessarily Catholic. They're Christians, people of other faiths that come and work with our programs. We have corporate days where large corporations and small corporations will have work days, and they will work at our St. Lucie Food Project or at our transitional housing or at our clinics. We simply could not function at the level that we do without the volunteers. And people love to come to Catholic Charities. It's well organized. We have very good systems in place so we can outreach to very many people.
That's powerful. Now, will there be a 2022 Catholic Charities ball?
Yes.
We're
so excited. So annually we have had this ball. It's usually in late January or February, and we hold it at the Ritz-Carlton in McLean. And so our next ball is February 11th, 2022, in person. So mark your calendars. Oh, wow. Usually we have about 900 people that come to this. It's a sellout event, so register early. It's a fun evening. but it's an evening where we raise funds for those that are in need. It's one of our biggest events. We've raised up to 1.3 million at these events. And during COVID, of course, we couldn't hold the event. However, we had a special video and it premiered in February. It's on YouTube. And on that video alone, we raised 1.1 million. So even without the fun of a black tie gala, people still poured out and their love. So we look forward to seeing you there in person.
Oh, it's beautiful. So Stephen, I'm going to go back to you now to talking about the present and future needs of Catholic Charities.
Well, you know, as we emerge into this whatever this new normal is in our world today, we know that the need continues. Our task, Bishop Burbidge and our Holy Father have called us to go out, to continue to seek the vulnerable, the most vulnerable, the unserved, the underserved, and so obviously we will continue to do that. It's interesting that we're talking today because just yesterday, or the day before, the moratorium on evictions expired. Yes. And so we now see, or we presume, or that there may be hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people in danger of losing their homes. And so we are going to be monitoring that very, very carefully here within our own diocese. You know, when people ask how they can help, I think there are at least 4 ways. The first is to please pray for us. Please pray for those that are in our care. Please pray for Catholic Charities, that we will always be faithful and always be helpful in all that we do for people in need. Secondly, people, as Ron has just shared, can volunteer with us, and how much our volunteers enrich us and help us magnify the work that we do throughout the diocese. Third way is to become a financial donor. The vast majority of the funds that we share, that we distribute, come to us from private donors, and so our work is literally made possible by those donors. And finally, as Ron shared earlier, we have 150 employees. If people feel called to this work, we have open positions now, as a matter of fact. But we have people from all walks of life who have come to join our community, our organization. Accountants, lawyers, social workers, medical professionals, doctors, and the list goes on. So people are called to this type of work. We can also help provide an answer to that call.
Well, Stephen, you have been absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for being on the show. And Ron,
thank you.
I just tell you, it was a pleasure. And Ron, thank you for being on the show and talking about Catholic Charities. Do you have a final word, Ron, that you wanted to add?
So I do. I've served on the board for 12 years, and I've watched the agency go through enormous growth. It's just exploding, and the need is so high, and I have been so incredibly blessed to be able to serve. Of all of the things that I do, this is the top priority for me, and I get so much blessing in serving the poor. So I invite others to join us to help meet the needs of all those who are so vulnerable, who are in need.
Wow, wonderful. Well, thank you, Ron Riggins and Stephen Carattini, for being on Ingrid's World to discuss Catholic Charities of the Diocese of Arlington. My inspirational quote is from John F. Kennedy: philanthropy, charity, giving voluntarily and freely. Call it what you like, but it's truly a jewel of an American tradition. Thank you for watching Ingrid's World, and don't forget, friend us on Facebook at Ingrid's World and follow the show at Ingrid's World VA in Twitter and Instagram. And if you missed an episode, you know what to do. Watch Ingrid's World on YouTube at the YouTube channel Ingrid's World LLC or ingridsworld.org. Thanks for watching.